there and welcome to the channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about the 5 mistakes, the 5 mistakes for you to avoid when growing dahlias. It's not an exhaustive list, these are just the key points that I'm going to talk about, so let's get on with it. Mistake number 1. Now, of course, you can buy your dahlias already flowering in the garden centre at an exorbitant price from about July, August time, but the vast majority of dahlias are sold as pre-packed bare root tubers in the spring, and that's absolutely fine. Not only are you paying a far competitive price, you generally have a much larger range of plants to choose from. But there's a problem. There is a mistake to avoid, and that is regarding the timing of your buying. So these large industrial commercial production nurseries that are packing up your dahlia tubers and put them in the packs, these all get lifted at approximately the same time, and they pack them up, put them in the bags, send them off to the garden centre, and then they sit there until they sell. They don't really get replenished with fresh stock. They all get lifted at approximately the same time. So the earlier you buy them, the better, because the longer they are sitting on the shelf, those roots, those tubers are drying out, and the more they dry out, their quality reduces. So you can get stunted growth, you can get late flowering, you tend to be not wasting your money, but you're just not going to get the ornamental effect that you would have got had you have ordered those tubers or purchased them right at the beginning of the season when they first become available. And that brings a second problem, because when you buy them that early, quite often the cold weather is still with us. You still have overnight frosts, and as you know, dahlias are considered tender, although we will talk about that a bit more in detail. So you can't plant them out. The ground is going to be far too cold, and if it's wet, waterlogged, freezing, then chances are you'll plant your dahlias out and they will be killed off by the bad weather. So what do? Well, best thing to do is actually to pot them on, put them in a frost-free position, such as a unheated greenhouse, hopefully, if you're on the south coast it should be, or into your garage, but you don't want them subject to freezing conditions at this point. What you do is you leave them potted on, and then once those new shoots start to emerge from the soil surface, then you can consider putting them out, but you cannot put them out until the threat of late frosts have passed. Once they have, they need to be hardened off. It takes about 10 to 14 days to harden off your plants, and that's I'm going to talk about hardening off now. Okay, let's talk about hardening off. If you've been shut inside all winter and haven't been going outside in the sun, and then you decide to go on holiday to Egypt, you'll find you'll get sunburn, and that is because your skin hasn't built up the resistance to cope with the hot sunshine. It needs to slowly produce melanin, and that will protect you, but it takes time. And it's the same with the plants. You can't just take them from a protected position and put them straight out into full sun, because the leaves will scorch. You can kill them off, and in extreme circumstances you can kill off the plant. So you have to build up their resistance. So what you do is you take your plant out, you put it outside but in the shade. Over the next couple of days you move it out so that it gets a little bit of morning sun or a little bit of evening sun, and then day by day you give it a bit more sunshine until the end of 10 to 14 days it can cope with the full sun. That's hardening off. Right, let's get back to mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 is flipping slugs and snails. As soon as those new shoots start to emerge in the spring, slugs are going to emerge and they're going to start chomping right on the top of it. So you need to put in some slug management. Now, you can try slug pellets if you wish, but they're not particularly good. You can go outside at night, pick them off when you see them. That's quite a good one. You could put down slug pubs, or you can choose from the very weird and strange range of organic controls of slugs. But whatever you do, you're going to need to put in slug management. For here we use beer traps, and we use the going out at night and picking them off. You could lose the whole plant very, very quickly if you don't do that, because the roots aren't very big, they'll exhaust themselves by putting out that new growth in the spring. Slugs eat it, it can't then reshoot, plant's dead. Don't forget that one, that one's quite important. Mistake number 3 is to put it in the right position. It needs to be in full sun. You could put it in the shade, but the trouble is they don't flower as much and they tend to stretch out. And if they stretch out, you get a storm, they'll snap. It's a big mistake, just don't do it. It's full sun every day, all day. Mistake number 4 is to not deadhead your old flower heads, because the plant knows when it has flowers, the plant knows when it's producing seeds. So if you allow your flower heads to flower, go over and produce seeds, then the plant will think, ooh, I'm already producing my seeds, I don't need to produce any more flowers, and then it will come to a stop. But if you deadhead regularly, and when I say regularly, most days over the summer period, then you can encourage your dahlia to keep on putting out new flowers. Now I have done a detailed video on how to deadhead your dahlias. I'll put the link into the description, and I'll put the thumbnail there, although you can't click on the thumbnail at this point because YouTube won't allow it. You've got to click on the link in the description. Flipping aeroplanes, so noisy. It's a curse. And here we are at the last mistake number 5, and thank you for watching to this point, it is appreciated. Mistake number 5 is to do with overwintering and then not doing anything about it to help your plants. As we said at the beginning of the video, these are tender plants, although with all of our fancy varieties they are all hybrids, and quite a few of these hybrids do express hybrid vigor insofar as they have increased cold hardness compared to other plants. If you live on the south coast where it is fairly mild, then you could probably get away with putting in no winter protection whatsoever, but at the absolute minimum you want to put down a dry mulch such as like a grit or a mini bark chip, a composted bark chip, and that helps prevent damage through ground penetrating frost. Now if you live further north where winter temperatures are so much lower and ground penetrating frosts are almost guaranteed every year, then you might want to consider lifting them up, putting them in sand or peat, and then overwintering them back into an unheated greenhouse or a garage. Don't forget, if you've got fancy, established, expensive varieties, then that's probably the guaranteed way to keep them year after year. But like I say, we live on the south coast, we can pretty much just leave them out and not worry about it. So there you have it, those are my 5 mistakes to avoid when growing dahlias. Like I said, it's not an exhaustive list, and if you've got anything you'd like to add, any great tips when it comes to growing dahlias, then let us know, put that in the comments, we would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and before we go, I've got one last message from me from the past. Right now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description, you can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while I still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.